Roger. Raven is in the air and heading to base camp.
Welcome to the video, guys.
This
Today we're
is
going to be
Raven
talking
arriving
about
shortly
Gray
near your
Zone
position.
Warfare, a new game that's going to be coming out here soon. Big props to IGN here for publishing the raw gameplay footage for us to watch. So this is Gray Zone Warfare, shot in the Unreal Engine 5. So, as you guys know, we've been looking for a actually realistic tactical shooter for a while now. Nothing quite has scratched the itch that we had hoped that it would. So this is a new game that's in development, going to be coming out soon. This is obviously pre-alpha footage, so can't fault them too far for anything that might be a little bit weird. Unlikely that any developer is going to hear anything that this little YouTube channel has to say, but if you guys are keeping up with the channel or watching any videos before, you know that we like to talk about real-world tactics through the use of video games, so we play a lot of Door Kickers 2. It's a nice top-down strategy shooter where you can really talk through the tactics. We tried our hand at Ready or Not, which is supposed to be a realistic SWAT shooter, but that obviously did not pan out very well. As a member of the SWAT team in my actual life, it just wasn't quite up to snuff with what we would like it to be. So apparently these guys have been trying really hard to take input from actual operators, so hopefully this game is going to be a little bit better for us when it comes to the realism. So obviously just looking here, map looks amazing. They're out here somewhere in Southeast Asia. So we'll talk some things through as we go. We'll pause here and there, but obviously looking through the Holosun optic here. This optic has a special place in my heart. It's actually the first optic that I bought, a little CU circle dot reticle on the Holosun, so nice to see that in the game. And then we've got a second person here who's going to be using an LPVO, so we're going to be switching back and forth between the two of them. So we'll pause here and there as we see fit. Starting out here, we can see that we've got, looks like this is on 1x right here, 1.5, 2, 3, so maybe like a 1 to 6, maybe a 1 to 8, probably a 1 to 6x here. Obviously, every operator is going to have their own individual loadout on what they like. Interesting here that he's got a foregrip so far back, but each operator's got their own preference. I'm a bit of a gear nerd, and I like looking at other people's kit, messing with my own kit here and there, so interesting to see what these guys are going to be rocking with. So I like so far how we've infilled off the X. We're obviously having to move our way to the objective here, so which is a little bit better than just having to the mission starts and boom, you're right there in the thick of it. So kind of nice. We obviously wouldn't want to land a helicopter on top of our objective, especially with a small 4-man team like this. We're just going to be working our way through, trying to stay out of sight. Did a good job hugging the tree line here. Try not to talk too much in certain parts so you can enjoy the footsteps, the sound of the bugs, stuff going on. Pretty immersive. I like that this is taking a bit for the action to get started. So as we stop here, you can see he stopped down over here. He's holding that large open area. We had been moving with the trees for the most part, so he stopped there to let us move past, and then we can start to hear enemies here. So we slow down. Okay, and now we can see some guys. So a little bit interesting there. I do always find it odd how in video games he's crouching there and walking forward. If you can imagine throwing on your full kit and crouching down and like doing a duck walk, and how terrible that sounds. I don't like the sound of that personally. So another interesting choice there. I'm gonna pause here for a second because I just have to say this. Um, Dude's got his LPVO on 1x, and that was very much more than 1x zoomed in there. So hopefully that's something that they can change. Again, like I said, we can't fault him too much. This is pre-alpha gameplay, but it's got the LPVO set at 1x, and obviously he was looking at more than 1x there. I do like though that you can only the actual reticle itself is zoomed in, so that's nice. And then also, probably would have stabilized myself there on that bridge rather than just like took a shot complete standing unsupported, but looks like we've got our LPVO guys standing back a little bit while we move up with these three. So this looks like the entrance to the village here. So this is what I'm talking about, how you can see the only the center of the reticle is zoomed in, which I like that. So our teammates are taking shots there, so we sprint up so we can try and get an angle into the fight. And take some cover here. So I really like that there, the reload animation. He goes ahead and checks the dust cover, sees that his bolt's locked to the rear, and then he can swap in a new mag. So that's super realistic. I like that a lot. A lot of times people just drop their mag immediately, but you're going to take a quick glance to see what's going on there. Alright, so here it looks like we took a shot. So we can pause there. We can see as I mess this whole thing up. We'll just rewind a second there. Got to be quicker on the trigger. All right, so here we can see we've got a few different medical options here. So we've got a splint, bandage, and a tourniquet. So there's these figures up here. It looks like this is like a laceration of some sort with bleeding coming out. Not really sure what's going on here. It's like a head. So maybe he's just got his bell rung something. And you can obviously see the red on the shoulder area here. So we've got an injury here. This is supposed to have a really well thought out injury type system. So I'm really curious to see that as a medic on our team. I'm curious to see what kind of medical stuff they got going on here. So he selects the tourniquet and places that on his left arm. And now we're swapping back over to our sniper guy. All right. So now it does look like we're no longer bleeding up here. Maybe we just still have our bell rung. And then I like how you see the sparks fly in there as we're shooting through the chain link fence. Our rounds aren't going perfect. Looks like we got shot again. Yeah, we are again bleeding. So we select a bandage here, which it looks like that is a North American Rescue bandage. Just the emergency trauma dressing is what it looks like. But it's not quite the same. So a little bit weird thing here. He obviously has a tourniquet on his left arm already. If he has his tourniquet on properly, he wouldn't be bleeding from that left arm again. So he's applying this to his left arm, but he's got a tourniquet up high and tight on his left arm. So he shouldn't be bleeding anymore if his tourniquet is placed properly. So a little bit of weirdness there. Also, he puts this bandage on and then it like disappears as soon as it's on. So like it's on, but now it's not there on his arm. So hopefully that's something that gets fixed. And then also here, we do a mag change since we've got 13 rounds, but typically we're not going to just drop that mag and then place a new one in. We're going to grab a new one, bring it up to the rifle, and then we'll swap those out so that there's minimal time with no magazine in the gun. So just a little bit of nitpicking stuff there. Now we're moving up here through the bushes. We do a nice threshold assessment here. We pie this off. I do like to see that. But we wouldn't really have this second guy pieing along with us. So now he's ready to make entry. They both make entry. They don't exactly check their hard corners, but they do make contact once they come into this courtyard area. So now they're both worried about this outside area, which is good, but he completely just turns his back to the little building here. So we need to stack up and get into the building. We need to not be standing there with our back just face to it. So doing a good job here. I would like to see a flashlight on these guns. Can't quite see perfectly, so we would want to have a flashlight to shine into those deeper areas. And then obviously as we're coming up over here, we should be right on our Battle Buddies 6 there. So like right now his back is exposed to this door until we make entry, so we should have hustled up and gotten on his 6. And here we find that smartphone. We hear a little objective sound. So that must be what we're here for, is that smartphone. And now we're going to move our way back out. So I like here that we're not rushing. So we have a map, and then we've got this loadout screen. So we can see here we're rocking the M4, got a Glock 17. Secondary, he's got the Holosun on there, flip up sights. So he's got his plate carrier here. He's got 4 mags. So one's empty, one's got 13. All P mags. He's got his backpack here with water, phone that he just grabbed. Circuit. He's got his battle belt with 1 extra mag, chocolate bar, and a frag. Got a little Pelican case with his pockets. Here he's got tourniquets, bandage, and splints. So you can see down here in this corner that we've got the blood, hydration, energy, weight, intoxication, and radiation. So not really sure how all that will play into everything, but that's what we got so far. So looks like we're dropping our splints for this guy. And he is putting he's not putting a splint anywhere, he's just putting a bandage on his arm. Looks like a giant freaking toilet paper roll. So he puts that on. Again, I think this one thing that can be changed a little bit is, I believe, if we look at him again, he's not going to have that giant toilet paper roll on his arm again. Because we don't have it on our arm, so... Got the whole team back together here, and then I like there, if you saw, you can examine your teammates, which I think is really cool. Oftentimes we're not going to be, if we're in a team environment, you know, if one of my guys gets shot, I'm going to run over there and I'm going to help examine him and see if I can render aid to him. He's not necessarily going to be doing it all to himself. So again, here we got that LPVO set at 1 and somehow is able to zoom in super far for us. The one thing that I find interesting is, you know, he's got multiple gunshot wounds. His teammates have multiple gunshot wounds. They don't seem to be slowing down at all, which is fine. I mean, the mission is what the mission is, but I'd like to see them, you know, moving a little bit slower or something. Like, just because the bleeding has stopped, like, you can hardly use that arm all that well once the tourniquet's been on there for a few minutes. So it's been on there for a while, and he doesn't seem to be having any sort of ill effects. Probably wouldn't be sprinting here, but that's just me. Okay, so we take another round there. Alright, you could hear him pulling the trigger there, but nothing happening, so another speed reload. I'd be careful being this guy just wandering out in the open as this gunfight's going on. And I don't know what that weird thing was he was just doing with his gun. I think he was trying to do like opposite shoulder cheek weld, which you're not going to do an opposite shoulder cheek weld. You're just going to transition to shooting left-handed. So really interesting there. I don't like that at all. That's, I don't know. Maybe some higher speed dudes than me are doing that, but if I need to do that, I'm just going to transition to left. Like, that doesn't seem real to me. I don't know. Maybe I'm behind the ball there and need some more training, but that's interesting. So my dude is still bleeding here. So interesting. They're pushing their way through this little market area, and then hopefully he's going to take care of himself. Here's another guy putting a giant toilet paper roll on his arm, which then immediately disappears. Yeah, I don't like that. Stop doing that. Alright, so we're moving over here. Looks like our teammate's dropping something for us. And it is a large blood bag. So we're going to take that. And so this is where I start to lose a little bit of hope. I get it. This is pre-alpha gameplay, so we're not talking too bad about it. But again, with the realism of things, you know, Ready or Not tried super hard to be hardcore tactical realistic, and they dropped the ball, in my opinion, immensely. Their entire team is constantly yelling, you know, moving, 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 clear, open door here, breaching, blah, blah, blah. Like, super unprofessional. Just keep your mouth shut and do your job. So that's one thing that I super like about this game so far is people haven't just been screaming at the top of their lungs, you know, like contact, enemy over here, breaching, moving, all that kind of stuff. So I like that. But here's where I don't like this at all. So he just takes a needle, shoves it in his arm, blows up the bag a little bit, and then it's like, yep, that's blood transfusion complete. So for those of you who don't know, I am the medic on our team, and one, most guys aren't carrying blood out in the field. If they are, you know, it needs to be refrigerated. You can't just keep it like out like this. So possibly this dude who dropped it for us is the medic and he's had it refrigerated. Cool, that's fine. But we're not doing a blood transfusion on a dude who's able to stand up and walk and move and get to whatever the objective is. Like, blood transfusion doesn't just take 2 seconds. You gotta get a line started, hook up the blood. Typically you're running saline and blood at the same time. You know, there is a case to be made for just giving straight blood, but typically you're using both. So it takes you out of the realism of the moment, I think, to have this blood transfusion that takes 2 seconds, and then makes him 100% better. You know, a blood transfusion is not something we're going to be doing in the middle of a mission unless you're like a critical casualty and it's time to get you out of here. So for him to just like stop, pause, get a 2-second blood transfusion, and then continue on with the fight, like that takes you out of the realism for me. And then it looks like we got another guy here giving himself another blood transfusion. Again, here's where I would like to have that flashlight to shine deep into the depths of that room. But hopefully that's something that will be added in. Again, with this weird left cheek lean, whatever. So this would be an appropriate time to do some bounding. They don't exactly bound their way across here. So, you know, that could just be training on the guys doing this mission in particular. It's also hard to tell what our other 3 teammates are doing if we got people watching the left side of this road, the south side. I do like the compass up at the top. Nice little touch. And that's why we don't sprint around corners. Again, here with this duck walk, I challenge all of you to throw on your kit and crouch and start walking forward. It's not fun. All this crouch walking. A lot of video games just throw crouch walking in like it's something that you would ever really do. It's like, try that for a little bit and see how long you're doing that for. I do like taking the knee before you take the shot to get a more stable position. Another empty. I like that. He's pulling the trigger and you can hear the click. He checks and then gets a new mag in. So he's taking that corner a bit aggressively if it's me, but he ends up not dead, so that's good. Our teammate. So lots of angles to cover with a 4-man team. I like there you can see he was he got our new mag in and then was pressing the forward assist to make sure his round was chambered. I like that. It looks like we've only got 3 rounds left in there, and so this is what I'm talking about. We'd bring a second mag up, swap mags, and then put the old mag away. Now, really shouldn't be doing the breaching on your own right here, but small team, I guess they're doing what they gotta do. They got the Convicts notepad there. You can hear the teammate there making some grunting sounds. So, nice little bound here. He's holding the road while we push across, tell him last man, and then he can follow along with us. So it appears that we have completed our objectives now, and so now we're heading on our way out of the city to go meet up with our helo. So holding these angles down as our teammates run behind. And then following this I'm gonna say cornfield. I don't know if they grow corn in Southeast Asia, but we're gonna follow this cornfield out of the city. Still lots of angles to watch. Dude just tanks a neck shot. So we see another little deal pop up there in the top left. Looks like he's thirsty. So um, again, not sure how exactly that's going to play into the game. We saw those deals earlier with the thirst and hunger and all that kind of stuff. So not sure exactly how that will affect the gameplay if this dude never drinks water. If he's just going to have like terrible weapon handling or what. But I would like to see them clear out that house as they walk past, but looks like they're just going to bypass it. Again, we don't really have the mission objectives or any sort of briefing, so we're just watching for the gameplay. And then we hear an objective marker sound there again. I'm not sure if someone else on the team did something that triggered that. But then you can see him pull up the map here. So you can see the base camp down here at the south. And then there's 3 landing zones that we can come in from. So it's nice that they don't just drop you down in the middle of the city. They got to place you on the outside, and then you got to work your way in. And it looks like you can probably choose any of these spots to infill and exfil from. So we're heading up here to Bravo 3, and then it says there's a 2-minute window for pickup. So I do like that. We're going to have to get here to this clearing and then hold it down for a few minutes, which does add to the realism. It's not like you're just going to radio and then in all these other games, you know, your helicopter just immediately lands and whisks you away. So we're going to have to get here to the edge of this field and wait for our helicopter to show up. And so while we're here, we're going to drink some water. And that takes away that thirst icon up at the top left. One more mag check. So tell me what you guys were thinking about this in the comments down below. For the very few people who are going to actually see this video. I know there's lots of other guys with huge channels that have been talking about this already, so watch them, see what they have to say about it. Watch me. Tell me what you guys are thinking down in the comments. I'm pretty excited. I'm not going to lie. I'm hoping that this is going to be a more realistic tactical shooter. Like I said, kind of been in the search for it for a while. As funny as it sounds, Door Kickers has been the best tactical shooter so far because at least you can actually, you know, show troop movements. It's the best spot to learn from, I think. You can actually see, you know, why you're taking this door or that door. We tried playing some Ready or Not with the SWAT gameplay, thinking, you know, okay, well, I'm a SWAT member, so hopefully this new SWAT game is going to be good. It's alright, it's a fun game, don't get me wrong, but it just doesn't hold up to par with the actual realism. So I'm hoping that this game here, Gray Zone Warfare, should be coming out here soon in the next month, 2 months maybe. Hopefully the environment certainly seems very realistic. The gunplay seems pretty good. There's of course some things that are better than others. A little bit of not realistic things in some spots, more realistic things in others. So if you guys want, we can definitely try and give this a play on the channel. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Go ahead and like, subscribe, turn your notifications on, um, and that way you'll be notified whenever the game does come out and we start playing some. This is just the first bit of mission that's available to the public to see, and I just wanted to give my thoughts on it for how realistic it's actually going to be. So, fingers crossed, it's going to turn out to be a really good, actually realistic shooter. So, it seems like they've been doing their homework, talking to real people who actually do the job. So, I'm sure they did that with Ready or Not. It just didn't work out perfectly when it came to the end gameplay. So, hopefully, it's better here. We'll definitely give it a play and see how it is. So, hopefully, you guys enjoyed. We'll see you in the next one.